Hey, what's up everybody, Drew here. Today we're back with another video and we got iPhone SE, which is the newest iPhone, versus the iPhone 11 Pro Max, which is Apple's most expensive iPhone starting at $1099, and you got the new budget iPhone SE starting at $399. Let's put these two phones against each other and see how they stack up. Alright guys, let's get started. Next up, let's compare the form factor between these two. The iPhone SE just fits in your hand so much better. If you prefer small phones and one-handed usage, then the iPhone SE is the better pick. However, if you like big screen phones and watching movies, or just reading big text, then the iPhone 11 Pro Max is a better choice. I like the 11 Pro Max because it just gives me a better viewing experience. Now my hands are pretty big and I can use the 11 Pro Max one-handed pretty easily, but just look at the difference in size. Just look at the SE. It just fits so much better though. For most people, the iPhone 11 Pro Max is the two-handed phone. Now let's get on to the cameras. The iPhone SE has one main shooter and the iPhone 11 Pro Max has three. You get a main camera, telephoto, and wide angle, and you also get night mode, which is a pretty big step up from the previous generation. Night mode makes a big difference. But when you compare the rear main shooter with the SE and the rear main shooter on the 11 Pro Max, the difference is very minimal. The biggest difference are if you want the telephoto, night mode, or wide angle. But for the average consumer, they don't care about those features. The camera on the front on the 11 Pro Max is the 12 megapixel shooter with 4K recording up to 60 frames per second, while the iPhone SE has a 7 megapixel camera with 1080p at 30 frames per second. So yes, the camera on the 11 Pro Max is much better. Now let's talk about the display differences. The iPhone SE has a 4.7-inch LCD display, while the iPhone 11 Pro Max has a 6.5-inch OLED display. For the average consumer, just put it this way. Just picture the iPhone SE has a high-definition screen, while the 11 Pro Max has a super high-definition screen with more clarity and deeper blacks. That makes it easier to explain for the average consumer. Now for the tech nerds out there, the PPI, which is pixels per inch on the SE, is 326, while the iPhone 11 Pro Max has a PPI of 458. As you can see, it is a little bit sharper, but for the average consumer, like I said, it's not a big difference. Most people don't care about how sharp it is, as long as it turns on and has a decent quality, they're happy with it. Oh, another big factor is repairability cost. The iPhone 11 Pro Max OLED screen is very expensive. If you break that, it costs an arm and a leg. While the iPhone SE is much cheaper, it basically uses an iPhone 8 display. And I also do cell phone repair, so if you guys ever need a repair, hit me up and I'll take care of you guys. Both of these phones feature stereo speakers, which is one on the earpiece and one on the bottom right. Let's see how they sound and how loud they get. Alright guys, so the biggest differences in my opinion is going to be battery performance. The iPhone 11 Pro Max has a humongous 3,969 mAh battery, while the iPhone SE has a 1,821 mAh battery. That is tiny in comparison. The iPhone 11 Pro Max can last me easily 2 days, about a day and a half if I'm hitting it hard, or about a day if I'm just slamming it. Meanwhile, the iPhone SE's battery is good but not great. The iPhone SE can last me about a day with super light usage, but if I'm using it like the 11 Pro Max, then it tends to struggle towards the afternoon, and I'm always looking for a charger. Both of these phones support fast wireless charging, which can charge your phone up to 50% in about 30 minutes. Only the 11 Pro Max comes with it in the box. Look what the SE comes with, this little piece of trash 5-watt adapter. I can't believe Apple is still including these. The 11 Pro Max, you have to spend over $1,000 to get this charger. Even the iPhone 11 comes with a 5-watt adapter. This is just pure greed. Meanwhile, the Pixel 3a, which is $400, comes with a fast charger in the box. I can't believe it. Alright, this is just a little rant. It's just still frustrating that Apple's still including these 5-watt adapters ever since the iPhone came out. Okay guys, to sum it up, did I notice a big difference in switching from an iPhone 11 Pro Max to an iPhone SE for a week? Yes and no. The cameras are pretty similar if you're talking about daylight shooting with the rear main 12 megapixel shooter, but for me the night mode and telephoto camera was the biggest difference in terms of camera performance. I actually did kind of miss the smaller form factor of the iPhone SE on certain occasions, and the LCD screen was pretty good. It's pretty sharp, but when you compare it to the iPhone 11 Pro Max, there is a difference. OLED versus LCD, the blacks are deeper, as well as it's also brighter as well. The iPhone 11 Pro Max gets up to 1,000 nits, while the iPhone SE has around 650 nits of brightness. And also text in my eyes is much sharper as well, but for the average consumer, they can't really see a difference. I actually did miss the smaller form factor of the iPhone SE on certain occasions, and the LCD screen is pretty good, but when you compare it to the iPhone 11 Pro Max, the iPhone 11 Pro Max is definitely better. The blacks are deeper, text is sharper, the screen gets brighter, the contrast ratio is better, but for the average consumer, they don't really care about all those bells and whistles. They just want something that's cost efficient and gets the job done, and that's where the iPhone 11 and iPhone SE comes in at. Now the battery life is a whole game changer on the 11 Pro Max. This beast can literally last me up to 2 days, while the SE tends to be a 1-day phone with light usage. Touch ID is still a little bit faster than Face ID, and with this pandemic going on, the mask is interfering with Face ID a lot, so having Touch ID was more precise. Yes, on iOS 13.5, Apple did update the Face ID algorithm to read if the user is wearing a face mask to pop up the Face ID code faster instead of trying over and over to rescan your face. But still, Touch ID was still faster and more reliable. Repair costs and true cost to own is a big one that a lot of people don't talk about. Apple is banking on you to pay more money for AppleCare services. You're basically prepaying your damage instead of putting it into emergency fund for your phone. You can save your money instead of giving Apple more money, and when you do crack your phone, you can dip into the emergency fund to pay for it, and if you don't crack it, then you have an extra $270 in your pocket. Out of warranty for iPhone 11 Pro Max screen is $329 from Apple, and the new iPhone SE screen is $129. I can do both of these repairs for cheaper than Apple, so if you guys ever need a screen repair or cell phone repair services, let me know and send it over. I'll take care of it. Just go to my About page and send me an email. Alright guys, I just wanted to do a quick video comparison on Apple's cheapest iPhone, which is the iPhone SE 2020 edition, to Apple's most expensive iPhone, which is the iPhone 11 Pro Max, which starts at $1099. Let's just give you a brief comparison, see how these two fare against each other, and see if the differences are worth it for you guys out there. For most of my customers, they prefer cheaper phones like the iPhone 7, iPhone 8, iPhone 8 Plus, XR, 11, and XS. Those are the most popular iPhones that I fix. A lot of people don't like spending this kind of money on 11 Pro Max or 10s Max. Alright guys, thanks so much for watching this video. I hope you found it helpful. If you did, please be sure to rate, comment, and subscribe. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.